The Bridges of Madison County, Vegan Feminist. Stick around, let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Dr. Corey Wren. I'm a vegan sociologist and a vegan feminist. And in this video, we will be talking about Bridges of Madison County. So the thing about vegan feminism is that there's very little by the way of fiction and pop culture that actually embraces vegan feminist theory. We do have the likes of Alice Walker, that's another video. But for the most part, when we see connections of gender and species, it tends to be quite negative. So that's been documented by Carol Adams and other vegan feminist theorists. But I thought it'd be interesting to do some reviews of books that present vegan feminism or use a vegan feminist perspective. Even if accidentally, it's kind of useful, I think, to identify more positive veins of this theory in pop culture. So this book is probably, as far as quality goes, not my favorite. It's a very quick read. This is a summer vacation, sit on the front porch and knock it out in a day type of read, take it to the beach. I just happen to really love the movie with Meryl Streep. It's a really good movie, but I'd never actually read the book, and my partner found this book at a used bookshop and picked it up for me. And so I read it, and it's really hokey. I'm not gonna lie, I think hokey is gonna be my new word. Actually, I don't know if hokey might actually be a speciesist term as well. Leave a comment in the comment section if you know about that. I just say that because I'm a grad of Virginia Tech, and we were called Hokies, and it turns out that's a castrated turkey. Virginia Tech is an old agricultural school. Anyway, but what I was trying to say is avoiding the word cheesy. Hokey, cheesy, whatever you want to call it, sappy, not the best as far as like quality writing, I guess. It's kind of like The Notebook. If you've ever read The Notebook, like I could barely make it through that. I was kind of forced to read it because all my friends were going wild about it. Anyway, it's that kind of book. It's a bit lit. Nonetheless, I saw past that because I love the movie, and I was trying to at least give the themes a good chance. So yeah, there's some interesting themes in this. So I'll see if I can do this review without spoiling completely the end of what happens. But basically the gist of it is that there is a National Geographic photographer, and this is set in the 1960s, and he's a bit of a countercultural character. He's a hippie, he wears sandals, he grows his hair out and all that kind of stuff. And he comes to Madison County in Iowa, and he is in this place, this small rural place, because he's been sent there by the National Geographic magazine just to take pictures of these historic covered bridges. And if you're not from America, like covered bridges are very like quintessential, like lost colonial culture, I guess. There's an actual covered bridge where I grew up, and it's very old. Anyway, so he's there to take pictures of those, and it just so happens that corresponds with the week that Francesca, this Italian war bride this is the 60s, so she's from World War II Italy. She marries an American GI. It just so happens that that's a week that Francesca is all alone because her family has gone to a fair because I think her daughter, I think that's important, it's her daughter has placed her prize cow in the county fair. And they set up right away this juxtaposition of the photographer, who's this freewheeling, independent, alternative type of masculine character, with Francesca, who's living, she herself is this wild-spirited, romantic, critically thinking, she's an English teacher, Italian woman from Europe, from faraway places. And now she's in this very still, very quiet, very conservative, very nosy, rural community. And she's a bit stifled there. And so what we see right away then is a lot of juxtaposition with rurality, with cows, domestication, domesticity, feeling as though she's trapped in these walls of the home, just like she might be trapped in a corral, oftentimes when the writer is trying to cue you this sense of lost wildness, lost animality, she'll be hearing something on the radio about cattle auctions or whatever. And so we're cueing to constantly juxtapose the oppression of non-human animals with the oppression of women in 1960s America. So that's pretty cool. And it gets a little bit more blatant, actually, as the love affair emerges between these two characters. That's not a spoiler, like this is the whole premise of the book. So there's a love affair that emerges between them, and then she starts to actively think about, what does it mean? Like, what is he inspiring in her? And she starts to put words to this, that he's like a wild animal. So the author is encouraging us to think about, well, what is post-war America doing to the human spirit, and squashing our wildness, our animality, our connection to nature, our roaming, our independence, and all that kind of stuff, trading all that in for an agrarian, sedentary, predictable, and oftentimes violent life. One of the other interesting things about the character, the photographer, is that he's a vegetarian. And she's used to slopping up meat and potatoes all the time for her Iowa farm family. And she's actually quite delighted to not have to do that. And she goes into the garden and picks fresh vegetables and prepares a simple meal. And again, is hearkening back to, what does it really mean to be human, and all these simple ways of living that we've lost. But very clearly using the politics of vegetarianism, even veganism, and politics of animality to express that. And she sees him as a wild animal. And it's interesting because she sees herself as a sort of prey animal, right? So she's, again, thinking of herself as that domesticated piece of livestock, a sheep, a cow. And here's a wild cat of a man. And she's afraid that she will be overpowered by him. She will be lost in this. And yet she can't help but be intoxicated by that. So perhaps this is the call of the wild that, Jack London famously discussed. So it's an interesting book in that it is just your regular claptrap romance, but they're explicitly drawing on themes of domestication, the relationships between feminism and food, relationships between gender and species. And I bet you would never have guessed that the Bridges of Madison County has an underlying vegan feminist theme. I doubt that the author is vegan, and they don't explicitly go into animal rights, like the animals remain absent reference. Nonetheless, we can probably add this to the pile of popular fiction that does explore those types of theories. So, is it worth a read? Depends. If you if you need just some easy stuff to flow over you and not really challenge you, then perhaps this is the book for you.